Alright guys, welcome back. Today we do Conan the Barbarian, issue number 9 from Titan Comics by, cover, E.M. Gist. I don't know it, but I like it. Too much brown for my taste, but it looks great, right? I like painted stuff. Real or digital, doesn't matter, I just like it. Painted is my preference, but still, real paint, Anyway, so let's dive in. In the last issue, Conan died. Or did he? We go back. We go back thousands of years to the Furian Age, and we see a hero, a spear slayer called Brule. Now, wait a minute. Where have we heard that name before? Coming back to that a little bit later. Anyway, so there was an age of darkness, and the king sent Brule forth with his mighty spear, to the corrupted core, and to slay or, investigate whatever it was in there, And they saw an accused statue of black stone who was the cause of this. And Brule throws his mighty spear. And the spear embedded in this statue was hit by lightning. The stone shattered, darkness dispelled. But when the smoke clears, Brule turns his head, and he sees from the rubble Conan, a wounded warrior who will not be born for another 80,000 years. I think, okay, he traveled back in time, and but he's not in the influence anymore of the of the spirits that inhabited in him in the last issue, probably because he died, right? I also like these lettering, this big bold lettering that we don't see much more in comics. Really love it. Very nicely done. Anyway, but Conan, dazed and confused, he thinks that he's an enemy, and he's attacking Brule. He said, "I heard that name." No matter, and then he's too weak, and he's falling unconscious. But then he wakes up. He's been bound on a tree. "I know you still a stranger. I heard you breathing shift as you woke. I've questions, and you shall answer them," says Brule. "Who are you? Where did you come from? Why do you carry this weapon of my people?" "If I tell you these things, how soon will you slit my throat?" says Conan. That would depend on the answers, wouldn't it? Okay, so he says that he was a warrior born, right? And he's ready to do battle. "I come from Cimmeria, and based on this climate, I suspect that this far north of here." He says, "I'm well traveled," says Brule. "I never heard of it," right? He says that the weapon was given to him by a friend, and that he died once, and he wouldn't mind if somebody tried that again, right? So Brule, of course, doesn't fall for his ruse. He says, "It takes strange confidence to riddles such when your life hangs in the balance. Valusia is haunted by forces I do not yet understand. You step forth from an obelisk dedicated to their dark power." But he says, "You keep your strangers for now. My king will decide your fate when we return to the capital." Who is this king, I wonder? Anyway, later on, nighttime, this guard is falling asleep because of the battle that he and Brule had before, right? Conan hears a sound, a mountain lion, starved, ready to strike. Looks great, man. Conan barely escapes, or steps aside. The claws then rips his ropes in half, and now he has a chance of fighting. The other one sees the screeching howl of the cat, and then, now this is cool. For a moment, Brule swears he sees the aura of a lion surge round the Cimmerian soul. Now, this is a throwback to the old Marvel comics when Conan, once upon a time, was called Amra, the lion. There's a whole story behind it, and you can check it out on, I don't know, Google if you want to know the story, but it was a great story. Anyway, so they arm up, but then before they can do that, Conan takes care of business and chokes the life out of this mountain lion. He threats the others, "If you intend to bite me again, I'll break your bottle bloody before I fall." So Brule looks at him and he is agreeing because Conan says, I can travel with you as peers and see if the strange past we share can solve both our mysteries. So they're introducing to each other, right? And then they go to this kingdom where Brule comes from. And then Conan looks around. He's never seen anything like this. And then we see this great city of Valusia. A soaring sight of shimmering iron, marble and crystal, unlike anything the Cimmerian has seen before. Its stirring citadels have stood for centuries and, its citizens assume, will stand onward. This really looks good, although my biggest problem with this whole series is the colors. There's an abundance of colors. I mean, not in the previous one, but that was another team. But, you know, they have the, I don't know, I mean, look at this, how many colors everything has. And if you look closely, even the colors are not even in these boundaries of the lines, of the drawings. It just are splatters of colors. I think it's too much, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it looks good, but sometimes less is more, if you know what I mean. Also, it could render a little bit more better, you know. I mean, this is far away, like here behind, I can imagine you don't put in all the details, but here, it's small things. I mean, like I said, it just looks good. Anyway, so Conan says, hey, Brule, I need some time to inspect your city's finer features. He says, okay, the wise one calls, so I will not interfere, but do not tarry long. So he goes then with the girls, and she says, your arrival has been seen. Now follow us. And then he sees an old friend, and this is probably in the Marvel comics, but I do not know for sure. Yak Kosha, the tragic trunk-faced creature he encountered in the Elephant's Tower nearly a decade ago. He says, welcome, friend. You were surprised to see me as I was to sense your presence here, such as it is. And he says, how can you be here? You're dead, right? He says, these things has not yet come to pass. You are not in a proper place of time, Cimmeria. Your steering souls has been adrift, untethered, unintended. But then Conan remembers what happened when he encountered this strange elephant man, and here we see that he is putting him out of his misery because of centuries of suffering, mercy given in the far-flung future of the Hyborian age. And when they spoke to each other, Conan is more confused than ever. Well, they say farewell to each other, right? Brule is now saying, how long has it been? 40 days since he's taking any visitor of council. I've kept the city functioning as best as I can, but gossip runs rampant. The people know something is deeply wrong, and my words are not enough to quell them. All right. Did the wise one impart any insight? Possibly. His words were elusive. I sure they make sense in time, but we have more pressing business to attend. So they're entering this big door, and but Brule is now going in and unannounced to see the king, but he has leverage and royal protocol, and we are getting introduced, none other than the mighty King Kull. So I said, Brule, a name heard before. Well, not long ago, I did a video about the Atlantean with Brule, now as a black man, and King Kull by Arrow Comics. So these are characters that has been depicted in another way by Arrow Comics. I did a video about it. I told what I like and dislike. I think in this book, Kull is depicted more like a bum than a king. And there's reasons for that, right? I mean, he's looking for the snake man, right? He wants to kill the serpent tribe or the serpent man. But still, look at this Kull. He just sits there strong and mighty, like a real king, right? He doesn't look like a bum. He looks just like Conan, because Conan will be a king. That's his lore, right? That's his future. He will be a king. But in this age, we have King Kull. Atlantean outlaw, slayer of Borna, conqueror of the Valusian throne, the people's king. A man most disturbed. I bear dark tidings, my lords, that you do, an outsider as well. You have burst in here most brash and disturbed my meditation. Explain yourself. Of course, the scouting mission confirmed the worst fears, but then Brule's bleak report continues apace, but Conan's attention has already shifted as the air seems to tighten around him. Even with the warning, the Cimmerian is caught off guard. When the king strikes his friend with a fist like solid stone, he says, liar! Shapeshifters and traitors everywhere. Right? So, this is the part, like I said, this is probably the story where Snake Man is still, in the kingdom, and I believe this is about the Snake Man, and because that's how I know Kull. I don't know much about Kull, but what I do know that he's a barbarian. Well, it's not really a barbarian, but he looks like Conan, but then different. And his enemies are Snake Man, right? And then we have an awesome battle between. By Valkan Hotef, I slay you where you stand. You can certainly try. A challenge issued, a challenge accepted. Then two flaming fans of steel break the air. The Cimmerian is surprised that so large a man who was set upon the throne can evade his whistling swing. But the tiger is still cousin to the lion, and both beasts are bred to kill. Great stuff. I must give props to Jim Zub, right, the writer. He's really killing it, quote unquote, with this Conan books. His writing is, sharp as steel. I made a joke. But anyway, I know I used the word anyway a lot. I don't know, it's just one of those stopping words I'm using a lot. Sorry. But they are, this fight is brutal, right? And as a king that was and a king to be looks horns and bulls, like bulls in battle. And it goes on. But then Brule is then waking up. And while the battle is still going fierce, Conan makes a mistake. He avoids the blade, believe its back exposed. Sloppy stranger, your swordship showed promise till now. Conan stays silenced, focused. He will not let the wild warlord goad him into making another mistake. No words, huh? Very well. Let my steel set the statement. A king's command bathed in blood. Kull lunges with fierce fervor, throwing all his weight to the attack. But with unexpected agility, the Cimmerian redirects its force, sending his foe sprawling. I was wrong. You are a worthy warrior after all. I say we could be cut from the same cloth. But he says, no, you talk too much. And they're still going on, but then he's being clocked out by Brule. A contest now left unresolved. So he hoped that the king would be one of the snake men in disguise, because that's what can they do. But, unfortunately, it's King Kull. And Conan says serpent man, right? Because that's what he's talking about. A tale for another time. Right now you must halt, you damn picked slayers. Arrest these savages. None may strike our king and live to see another day. And it leads us to the next issue. This is so good. I said before, this Conan, probably the best since the Marvel comics, right? Maybe even better. Dare I say that? I don't know. I'm liking everything, every book of Conan I really like. There's none book that I say, oh, this is weak or bad or cringe or whatever. No, the consistency when it comes to art, when it comes to writing, it's still strong constantly. Also, we have a more in-depth, how do you say, well, it's not really a bio, but explanation of Atlantis, Lemuria, Valusia, more background information. I haven't read this, but I'm going to do that. It's really good. And you can pause the video, right? You can read what's in here. I'm going to show you this as well. Look here. Hope you see it. Pause the video if you want know more about the picks, about Lemuria, about probably, everything this era has to offer. And then we go into the next issue and we're going to continue the series. So yeah, great stuff. And that's my video, guys. Hope you like it. Please subscribe to my channel. I must promote my channel a little bit more. Hope you would do that. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.